Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we got the announcement, Sigil is dead. That is, Project Sigil is officially dead. So we are going to talk about this announcement. We're going to talk about everything that has surrounded every virtual tabletop that has come out for Dungeons and Dragons in the past. And we're going to talk about all the failures that Wizards of the Coast have had with VTTs in the past and the present, and possibly where they're going to go in the future. So we've got a lot to talk about, a lot to go over. Don't go anywhere and stay tuned. All right, before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like this video. Hit the like button if you have any questions or comments. Please leave a question or comment, and don't forget to share that video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And very quickly, I just want to introduce my Vault of the Worm and the Painted Rock adventures. They are available at Dungeon Masters Guild. Links are below. 3rd level adventure, Vault of the Worms. 4th level adventure, Painted Rock. All right, back in 2007, we got the announcement, and this was late 2007, we got the announcement for 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons. And in addition to that, sometime in 2028, and it was late 2028, like late summer, early fall 2008, we got the announcement that Dungeons and Dragons, in addition to the 4th edition, was going to have a virtual tabletop. And what you're seeing in front of you right now is what that virtual tabletop would have looked like back in 2007, 2008, 2009. And of course, this never panned out. We got this video. It was a very fancy video that, to be honest, if this were what it looked like today, this would be probably an improvement over what it was in the past or what it was with Project Sigil. Sigil didn't really work. It was a little bit fancier. But this in itself was what we were going to get. It's got a little dice tray you can see there. And this is what we were promised back in 2008. And of course, this never happened. Never happened. Let's put a pit there. This virtual tabletop was basically just lip service to the fan base, and then we never got this. We got a character builder, which was D&D Insider for 4th edition, but Wizards had different plans all along. They were always going to go with 5th edition. 4th edition only lasted for about 4 years, and then it was basically gone. So that was the first foray into the virtual tabletop world for Wizards of the. So in 2023-ish, 2024, early 2024, we started to get kind of rumors and stories that leaked out of Wizards of the Coast that said that Cynthia Williams and Chris Cox wanted to monetize. And this was mainly after the OGL scandal that had happened. And we were told they really wanted to monetize everything that they possibly could in D&D. And then we got an announcement later on in 2024, particularly at Gen Con 2024, that they were going to come out with a new, and that when I say they, I mean Wizards of the Coast, were going to release a new virtual tabletop. And we got a video, and we're going to show a little bit of that video here, but we got a video at Gen Con 2024 that demonstrated some of the 3D features of that particular virtual tabletop. And then in February of 2025, this year, we got this announcement for Project Sigil. And it says, Sigil is the new immersive 3D virtual tabletop developed by Wizards of the Coast that allows you to build 3D maps, environments, and even minis. And this was, as we guessed, was part of Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro's plan to monetize Dungeons and Dragons where you would buy a subscription to Sigil, and then there would be packs of maps, tiles, skins, new minis, monsters, things that would come out that you would buy. You could buy them individually as microtransactions, or you could buy them as packs. And like, none of that stuff was actually announced, but we all kind of guessed that was the direction they were going to go, and that was the rumor, and that was what was in all of the different news stories at the time. And this was the video that we got at the time. Now, this is a 6-minute video from 2024. I've got the sound turned off, but we're going to just take a look. We've got this kind of cool cartoon that came in, and then, you know, we've got some characters on here. Some of this stuff is from Baldur's Gate 3, and then they kind of show how some of the minis work, some of the effects that happen, some of the designers that are here. Here you see some of the mechanics that were happening. And this was going to be Project Sigil. This was going to be their new tabletop. And in this, they kind of talk about how they were building the different tiles and the different spaces, and how the different design was going to happen. And we've got some of the designers here and some of the guys from D&D. And, you know, there is like a Roll20 Foundry style descriptions on the side. We've got the minis here inside of a tavern. It all linked with D&D Beyond, and it all linked with your character sheets. And it looked great. And it looked like, you know, particularly with this, you can see them going through all the different like weapons and skins and outfits and accessories. And our guess was all of that was going to be monetized at the time for all of these different minis and tiles and everything else. Again, that never panned out. And then towards the end of March, shortly after that particular announcement came out, which was at the end of February in the video, which came out at Gen Con, we got some breaking news. And the breaking news is here. Dungeons and Dragons scrapped project doesn't have to be end. And it's talking about Project Sigil. And this came out from Game Rant on April 12th by LB Beistad. And there was some leaked emails that came out from several senior people in Wizards of the Coast. And in addition, there was one of the designers, one of the lead designers, who was let go, and he put some posts in LinkedIn. We're going to go over those posts, but I want to look at this. It says right here, Senior Vice President Dan Rawson stated, after several months of alpha testing, we've concluded that our aspirations for Sigil as a larger standalone game with a distinct monetization plan will not be realized. So what happened? Unfortunately, many of the staff members working on the project were laid off after the cancellation of Sigil, leaving any future attempt at an official VTT up in the air. And so they kind of talk about all that. They talk about how difficult it is to make one of these. And, you know, a lot of things that they didn't really come out with any official notifications about this, but we got all these leaked emails saying, hey, there was a bunch of staff that got fired. And then we got these LinkedIn posts. And then we've got these emails that came out to a bunch of different kind of gamer, role-playing game type of media. So along with this announcement that we have here, that was February 27th, 2025, we got this post from Andy Collins, who was a senior game designer at Wizards of the Coast at the time, who was working on Sigil. And this was right around the same time as that announcement from Wizards of the Coast on D&D Beyond. It says, yesterday we launched our public beta for Sigil, the new immersive 3D virtual tabletop for D&D. I've been working with this team for 10 months, and the momentum we're showing right now is amazing. Follow the link below to download and try out the new experience, and join our Discord to provide advice on how we can improve and iterate in the coming months. You can jump in and explore with free D&D Beyond kit, la la la. So we got that, and then about a week later, we got this. Today, approximately 30 talented developers, 90% of the team, were laid off from the Sigil virtual tabletop team at Wizards of the Coast, including yours truly. I'm disappointed that we didn't get to continue working toward the full experience that we imagined, but happy for the opportunity to work on an intriguing challenge with so many smart and dedicated folks. So, we got A saying, hey, Sigil's here. I've worked on it for 10 months. It's great. It's out. And then we got B. Hey, I'm not working anymore. So it really shows Wizards' kind of not dedication to the project, and it was essentially doomed from the start. And finally, we come to this. This came out today, 9 hours ago. Closing the chapter on Sigil and thanking the community. And it says, to our D&D community, we have made the difficult decision to end development on Sigil. This was not a decision made lightly, and it followed months of reflection with all teams involved. We're deeply grateful to everyone who explored Sigil with us and shared in its journey. Your passion and feedback meant the world. So, and then they kind of go through, what's going to happen. So, they say if you used your paid or trial master subscription to access Sigil at least once anytime between March 1st and October 23rd, you'll receive a 6-month master tier credit. This 6-month master tier subscription credit will be granted and appear on your account by November 7th. And then Sigil will be available through the end of October 2026. So people are still kind of using what was there. It didn't work great. That was a big problem. A lot of people came out when the beta came out and tested it and the alpha, and it just did not work very well at all. And it was very apparent. The actual release of these was very kind of unannounced. There wasn't a big announcement behind all of this by Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, which you could kind of tell there was very lackluster with them. And we kind of felt that this was all going to just kind of die on the vine. So with that, we also get this page, which is the Sigil Sunset FAQ. Now, this page has changed a couple of times, but on this page, you'll find everything you need to know about how Sigil is closing down and where it's going and what you'll be getting. So we are closing the chapter on this. Project Sigil is officially dead. We will get on with our lives. Do I actually think that Wizards of the Coast and or Hasbro will ever have their own virtual tabletop? No, I don't. They have tried this twice. They have failed miserably both times. We have not gotten any. We've gotten all these big promises from them twice now. Huge announcements. And neither one of these have gone barely anywhere. Sigil went further than the 4th edition D&D Insider tabletop. We got a preview video for D&D Insider back in 2008. With this, we actually got a beta. But I think Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast are kind of figuring out that they're not a software company, and it is possible that they need to contract this out to an actual software developer to create something for them. They are not going to be competing with Roll20, and they are definitely not going to be competing with Foundry. So that is the video I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.